GM Zingers, my name is Logan Ross, and I'd like to welcome you to Flight 61 aboard the Moon or Bust Rocketship, your home for all things altcoins and DeFi. We've got a great show coming up for you today. Let's get right into it. Joining me today is number one DEX trader, Pirate Ryan McNamara. Here, let me put my costume on as well. How you doing, Ryan?
Arrgh! I'm doing well, Logan. How are you? Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween to everyone out there. Let us know what your costume is going to be. Drop it in the chat below, and we will highlight our favorites. So, Ryan, what are we doing on today's show?
Oh, we got a lot coming up. We'll be interviewing Pastel Network. It's a network for NFTs. It's launching soon. Super cool stuff. And we'll also be looking at everybody's favorite dog coins. We'll go over some Shiba Inu. We'll be going over some Floki Inu, as well as some of the smaller ones that might be on the come up. So stay tuned for that.
Very, very cool. So before we get started, okay, I got to take this out. I can't even talk. Before we get started, thank you.
Yeah.
I need everyone out there in the chat who's watching right now to go down into the comments section and let us know the crypto projects, maybe even specifically the dog coins you are looking at this week. What are you trading? Let us know so we could take a look at it. And then while you're down there, make sure to smash the like button so everyone else can find this content easier. We could grow the Moon or Bust family. And also, if you're here for crypto content, there is the Benzinga Crypto YouTube channel. We're starting some exciting new shows over there, hopefully next week. So subscribe if you're not already. And also, if you're new, we appreciate you tuning in. Welcome to the fam. Subscribe to the main channel if you're not, and you can join the Moon or Bust community on Telegram for a 25% off discount code on the Moon or Bust swag. As always, make sure to connect with us on Twitter right there. We're doing a giveaway of $50 NFT conference put on by CoinGecko. We're giving away $50 tickets.
And both of us.
Oh, yeah. No, good point. We are going to be hosting panels
there.
at CoinGeckoCon. So make sure you guys go check that out on Benzinga's Twitter as well. Retweet and follow us both for a chance to win. Okay,
what's
Ryan,
your panel going to be on at that conference, Logan? I forgot.
I'm doing like the NFT music industry panel.
Okay, sweet. I'm doing the metaverse panel. I'm really excited for it. I'm doing Animoca Brands, and this guy is absolutely insane. He sold a cloud computing company to IBM in 1998. Then he played the Apple App Store in like 2010, had like 15 different apps in the top 100, and Apple actually deplatformed him. So after he got deplatformed, he went really hard on blockchain-based games. He funded private rounds from Axie Infinity, Decentraland, and OpenSea. So I'm so excited for that. It's going to be so cool.
It's quite the sales pitch, Ryan. You got lucky on that interview. I'm actually not too sure about my guests yet, but I will update you guys. So make sure you guys go check out Ryan's metaverse panel. That's pretty dope. And then maybe, I don't think Chris signed up, so maybe we could get the Akon panel too.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Just a little something. Okay, let me share my screen and we can take a look at the markets.
So as always, we're starting with Bitcoin and Ethereum, and then we'll go over, look at the dog coins. What do you think? Sounds like a plan?
Sounds like a plan. I don't even know if we have to do Bitcoin today. Let's just start off with our new all-time high, Sweet Baby ETH. Here we have the 1 minute candles, and you can see here just a couple hours ago, we hit this new all-time high at $4,470. Drop a comment in the chat if you're an ETH bag holder. Let us know what's up. We've been following ETH for way too long. So if you guys have been watching, hopefully you got in early. Let's see what else do we have here. I have to get some new tabs open. Let's pull up CoinMarketCap. And maybe we could zoom out on ETH.
Yeah.
1 hour.
As much as I love 1 minute candles, I think that 1 hour and daily candles probably tell a better story. Especially with that beautiful triangle you drew.
Here's your story, Ryan. Why don't you tell us?
I mean, you drew that triangle, but I mean, I can do my best. So it looked like we went up we had a previous resistance there, maybe right around $4,000, which seemed like a psychological resistance, which we were able to break through. I think this was a pretty good triangle, Logan, because we did break up above it, and it looks like we did hold it. So congrats to you for those lines in the sand. It looks like it did work out so far. We'll see if we can hold it. I mean, I think the markets are really bullish right now. I think there's a lot of new attention in crypto because of all these dog coins. So I think that we're probably going to hold above it. And I think, it's interesting because usually Bitcoin leads the way with Ethereum, and it did to a degree. Bitcoin hit a new all-time high, but we really see the mania with these dog coins right now, which usually comes later on in the cycle once, Bitcoin and Ethereum really rip. So we'll see what happens, but I think it's a bullish signal because a lot of these people buying the dog coins are new to crypto.
Drop your args in the chat if you guys are looking at the dog coins this week. And while you're down there, if you're just tuning in, make sure to hit the like button. Do us a solid little.
What about Pirate Coin? How's Pirate Coin doing?
Let's find out. What is Pirate Coin, Ryan?
Oh, it's a revolutionary new cryptocurrency that I just started, and it's on CoinMarketCap actually, and it has actually decently large market capitalization. I forgot exactly how much.
You did not start this, bro. Quick
cap. Yeah, Pirate Coin. Arg. I'm the CEO of Pirate Coin. Can't you tell?
What is this shit, bro?
Pirate Coin? Fully diluted market cap of $37 million. I mean, not bad for a day's work. All I really had to do was put on an eye patch, a hat, and get to coding. It's on Binance Smart Chain, my favorite blockchain to make tokens on. And the slippage is only 7.9% or 7 to 9%. I can't read well with the eye patch on.
Oh my God. Ryan, this is a pretty nice website that you threw together this morning.
Thanks. I actually hired someone off Fiverr to do it.
Oh yeah. Good idea. Gotta outsource everything.
Exactly.
And full disclosure, this is a joke. Ryan did not actually make this coin. Or did he?
It looks like I made it. If Craig
Craig
Wright is the CEO of Bitcoin, I am the CEO of Pirate Coin. There is no debate.
Can you tell the CEO of Bitcoin to send the price up?
Yeah, let me just message Craig.
Okay, let's see what happens if we type Inu into... Wait, what? Come on, I want all the Inus.
Hachiko Inu. I have not heard of that one yet.
No, that's the new wave, bro. It's the Shiba Floki Safe Moon Killer. Okay, so on a real note, let's actually take a look at our favorite dog coins here. So what should we start with? Doge.
Yo,
Shiba,
you can sort by meme coins now on CoinMarketCap. Can't you?
Does it have all the good ones?
I saw a filter.
It doesn't have Bitcoin on it.
Damn. I don't even know how to do it, actually. I just saw that you could.
Watch list, portfolio.
I would think it would be down by cryptocurrencies where categories DeFi's NFT is.
Oh, I see.
Maybe there's another filter you can use.
Ah, frick, man. What the heck? How do I CoinMarketCap? Filters. Come on, baby. All right, this might be a lost cause.
Yeah, I think we should just use TradingView for it. I think TradingView should have at least Shiba Inu and Floki at this point. If not, we could maybe try and use KuCoin or something else.
Popular categories. Doggone, Doggerel. I don't even know what this means. Is this all the dog coins? Oh, we got it. All right. Here are all of the dog coins in the top dog position. We have Shiba Inu right now, ripped past Doge. And I'm curious to hear what you guys out there think about the flippening, okay? This was a meme that was going on all year long. Shiba's going to flip Doge as the Dogecoin killer. Personally, I didn't think it would actually happen, but I was wrong, and I'm here to admit that today. So drop a comment in the chat. What do you think this means, for the ecosystem as a whole? You have any big picture ideas? Ryan, what do you think about the flippening?
I think it's ridiculous. I did not see this coming whatsoever, man. I was dumbfounded when I saw it. I knew it was going up fast. I saw it past Chainlink, and it was like the 15th largest cryptocurrency. And I wasn't sure how much higher it could go from there. It already had over a $10 billion market cap. And it happened. I mean, I thought Doge would probably be going up with Shiba when this all took off, but it's really lagged behind. It's down 10% today, only up 21% on the week. So, I mean, I'm very surprised Shiba did that, but congratulations to all you Shiba Inu holders out there. You did it. You flipped Doge. Now all that's left is to flip Bitcoin. And then after that, you can reach 1 cent.
Oh, man. Do you think that this suggests that ETH could flip Bitcoin?
I don't know if it
Am I
suggests that.
reaching
I
there?
think it might be a reach, but I still think that Ethereum could flip Bitcoin this market cycle. I've said it before. I'm not sure if it's more likely than not. I think it's probably less likely than not, but I think it's still a possibility Ethereum could flip Bitcoin this market cycle. But yeah, I don't know with all these dog coins if that's really telling of like an incumbent being able to be flipped by a new entrant into the market, but it's certainly possible. We saw it with Shiba Inu. Let's see it with Ethereum. That would be the day. We'd have to throw a moon or bust party live in Detroit when Ethereum flips Bitcoin.
And everyone out there is invited as long as you smash the like button. Okay, so why is Floki Inu down here so far? I thought Floki would be bigger.
I did too. I mean, that's kind of interesting.
It's a $2 billion market cap. There's no way that that's not.
Yeah,
like,
see, it's not. Yeah, Coin Market Cap ranks their coins kind of oddly because
maybe just because it's self-reported or something.
Yeah, that would be a good guess, I think.
What the heck, man? What happened to my dog coin filter?
Floki Inu's been going crazy though. It's up 43% today. Over the week, it's like 200%. So again, congratulations to my Floki Inu holders out there. We did a show on them a few weeks back. I said I wasn't going to be investing, and I guess I missed out. But hey, I mean, it is what it is.
You really floked up, bro.
Good one, Logan.
Thanks, man. You could see here that the reason it's so far down on CoinMarketCap's list is because it has that self-reported market cap. So it's actually worth $2 billion, which places it in the third biggest dog coin spot, right above Dogelon Mars. I haven't heard of this Samoyed coin or SafeMoon Inu. We need to write some articles on these.
Mm-hmm.
Look at that.
Yeah, 20%. That Dogelon Mars, man, that's been getting so much attention lately. Really out of nowhere. I guess it is just due to Shiba Inu, but it is up like crazy as well. We see 70% in one day. Warren Buffett could never, and 185% over the past week. So absolutely ridiculous returns right now. Dogcoin mania for sure. How long do you think this is going to last, Logan? I think we're pretty close to the top at this point.
You know, I think that Shiba is probably close to the top. I think it's probably Dogecoin's turn now. So I don't know. It's cool. An interesting thing because like maybe Shiba has more room for money to flow into it because it's based on Ethereum, whereas Dogecoin's like its own blockchain, so it's like a single use case. But Shiba could continue to get that other money from ETH. And dude, imagine if OpenSea adds Shiba to purchase NFTs.
That would be ridiculous, but I think that's extremely unlikely. I mean, they only have Ethereum, Wrapped Ethereum, and Polygon is on OpenSea right now. And Polygon makes sense because they use Polygon for their layer 2 solution. And then, of course, Ethereum is used to buy NFTs everywhere.
Well, there's also DAI and USDC.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
And like if Coinbase accepted all cryptos for NFTs, then I think that it would probably just push everyone else to do it. Like only one person has to do it, and I don't see why not. Like it seems like a fine idea to me. So Sarah Russell out there in the chat says, where can you buy Floki? So I dropped a link to our money site article, How to Buy Floki Inu. Go check it out there. And also we got a promo going on with $5 in free SHIB if you sign up with Webull. Yeah.
Should have signed up last week. It would be like $20 in free SHIB now.
Don't miss out. Don't sleep. Go check it out. Okay, so any other dog coins you guys are looking at in the chat, or Ryan, do you want to take a look at?
Yeah, can we take a look on TradingView and look at maybe Shiba Inu at least? And then if anyone else wants to see other dog coins that are on TradingView, we could look at those as well.
Shiba.
Probably Uniswap would be your best bet. Well, that works too. Now, for something like this, we should probably not use daily candles.
You want the hourly candles?
That looks good.
That's crazy. Literally, this is 1 week. Look at this volume. Oh my god. Oh, and it looks like, okay, I'm going to draw some more fake lines here, but look what we see. Look what we see. We see this triangle forming here. Okay. Something like that, right? And it's broken out of it. It's broken up, actually. Is that bullish?
Yeah, I mean, I would say it broke out even sooner if you connect the previous local tops, then it's an even steeper line. And then we are broken out. Like if you go even further to the left, Logan, to those other local tops. But either way, now we are seeing higher lows and higher highs, which is typically a bullish signal. Again, these are only the hourly candles, so it's kind of hard to trade based on them. I know a lot of people do anyway. But we could see another leg up. It's pretty hard to tell at this point. I mean, so many people have made 100% or more on their investment. I'm sure a lot of people are trying to take some profits at this point. But at the same time, everybody's talking about it, right? And now it's available on eToro. It's available on Webull and Coinbase. So many new investors have access to Shiba Inu that didn't have access during the first pump back in May.
I just had an idea, and then now it's gone. What? Oh man. Just like that. What about yeah. So what about that guy who made possibly the greatest trade of all time? $8,000 invested in Shiba Inu last year is now $5 billion. But the thing is, this wallet address has not taken a single bit of profits yet, and only a crazy person would sit through $5 billion of gains without taking any profits. Okay, so you could buy the most expensive yacht in the world and still have billions left over. So I think that the private key is lost. This wallet is lost. What do you think?
I agree. Yeah, I mean, there's almost no way, right? Unless you have the most diamond hands out of any investor in the entire world. It's really cool to see, though. I think it would be considered the best trade of all time throughout all of economic history. I mean, $8,000 to $5.6 billion in about a year. It's absolutely ridiculous. But like you said, he didn't take any profits. And you have to remember, like throughout this whole year, he or she had millions of dollars, and then it turned into billions of dollars, and then it turned into several billions of dollars. So I do think he lost his private seed. It is possible that they're just holding on to it, though. I would love to see them take profit and to confirm that they didn't actually lose their seed. But I think at this point, with so many people speculating that they did lose their private seed, they would probably, like sell a little bit or move something into the wallet to show that they still have access to that wallet. So yeah, I think more likely than not, they probably put that $8,000 into Shiba Inu, lost their seed phrase, and now there's $5.6 billion worth of Shiba Inu in a lost wallet. This reminds me of those Bitcoin miners back in the day who lost their computer or their wallet with hundreds of Bitcoin on it. Same feeling.
Okay, so on that note of crazy trades, we saw a CryptoPunk sale last night that broke Twitter. I'm trying to find it right now. Ryan, you want to tell us a little bit about this CryptoPunk sale here?
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure it was Sobi, right, Logan? It was Sobi who bought it.
Was it Sobi?
I'm pretty sure
I thought it was someone else.
Loonlock also tweeted it was his, but he was memeing. I think it was Sobi. Sobi owns a ton of Meebits, I think like 250 plus Meebits, and he also has a crazy collection of CryptoPunks, which I think is in the hundreds. But basically here, what people are speculating, and you can see it on chain, so this is actually what happened. This guy got a flash loan with crypto that he was able to buy this CryptoPunk from himself and then pay back the loan all within one block to make this record sale. So this isn't a legitimate sale per se. It's not money laundering, but at the same time, it is, I think, to just create some hype around CryptoPunks right now. The previous highest sale was an alien, which makes sense because there's only 9 alien CryptoPunks, and those sold for $9 million. Now this one, the white hair is cool. You know, Hayden Adams, founder of Uniswap, uses a crazy white hair CryptoPunk on his Twitter profile picture. It's a pretty rare trait, but it's not worth anywhere near $500 million. Maybe close to $1 million, but definitely not $500 million. But they pumped the market to a degree, I think. I wasn't really paying attention to the floor, but I noticed just a few minutes after this happened, somebody put $87 million bids across the board for the alien punks. But those have since been withdrawn. So I think that the person realized, you know, this guy had a flash loan, bought the punk from it himself. It wasn't a legitimate sale, and then withdrew those bids because they didn't feel comfortable spending $90 million and having the new
bids?
legitimate. Yeah, they withdrew them. I checked this morning. So those bids are not on the table anymore, which kind of makes sense, right? I would be willing, if I had the money, I'd be willing to pay $90 million for Alien Punk if there was a legitimate sale of a $500 million punk that wasn't an alien. But since it wasn't really legitimate, they withdrew their bids. But no one took them, which is interesting. They were up for a few hours, and those Alien Punk owners, I mean, they must have saw them, right? A $90 million bid on their punk, and they could have sold. They could have sold, but they did not. So, I mean, that kind of tells me you're going to have to spend more than $90 million to get an alien punk these days. I mean, the people holding onto those are holding onto them with diamond hands.
Exactly. So one person valued all of them at $90 million each, and none of them sold, which means the holders value them much higher. That's kind of crazy. So Ryan, why don't you tell us about this little page you put together here?
Yeah, so a few months ago, I made this CryptoPunks watch list on Benzinga. We try and keep it updated, but the markets move super fast. So, you know, DM us on Twitter if you see someone new who's famous, get a CryptoPunk. We'll add them to this watch list. But we created this to track all these famous people who now own CryptoPunks, and usually almost all of them use them as their Twitter profile picture. So that's pretty cool to see. Someone else just added a CryptoPunk into
Jordan Belfort.
Yeah, we got to add Jordan.
We have to add him to the list. But yeah, check out this page. It's really cool.
And did you see that little baby now has a Bored Ape as his profile picture? Let's check that out. Did he tweet anything out about it, or did he just do it?
No, he didn't tweet anything out about it yet, which is sad. I wanted to retweet it, but we see the little baby's got the baby Bored Ape. Yeah, nothing yet as far as an announcement from the slime himself, but we do see his PFP has changed. And well, it may seem like Lil Baby is not really like it doesn't seem like that big of a deal. I think that Lil Baby's influence within the rap community is actually very big, and it will do a lot to influence a lot of like serious collectors, potential buyers. We also see, Jay-Z of course has it too, so it's clearly spreading very quickly, and I think that this is actually very cool. I think that it's gonna help the market grow a lot.
So Logan, do you want to take a look maybe at Floki Inu or some of these other dog coins that are giving Shiba a run for its money?
Yeah,
I don't even know if they're on TradingView though. Why don't you check, see if they're on TradingView?
Floki Inu. Bro, we have to set up that interview with them.
We do.
Yeah. We're gonna be having Floki Inu, someone from the team, come on Moon or Bust pretty soon here. So make sure you guys are subscribed if you're not already, so you can catch that episode as well. All right, so here is Floki. These hourly candles are kind of ridiculous.
It hurts, man. It hurts.
It does hurt a little bit. So what is this like a
max
from
pain?
6 to 30? It's like a 5x in the course of 2-3 days. Or no, that's like it's approaching a 10x. It's approaching a 10x.
4 zeros. Yeah, it's at like 5x right now, right?
Yeah, I guess so. That's crazy though. $2 billion for the Floki meme. You think that meme is good enough for a $2 billion market cap?
I mean, if Shiba Inu has a market cap of $50 billion, the relative valuation of Floki could be argued that it's undervalued.
Yeah, exactly.
Is Floki Inu undervalued? Let's see in the chat, guys. What do you think? Is Floki Inu undervalued? I certainly think it's not undervalued, but you know, we all have differing opinions.
Yeah, I mean, personally, that's not the type of thing that I want to have in my portfolio necessarily. But like, hey, gains are gains at the end of the day. All right, so stacking 9 millimeters in the chat says, check out Kishu Inu. And let's see how big is Kishu compared to the other ones. Maybe it's not listed. Huh.
Jonathan, I see your comment in the chat. Yeah, there is pretty high charges on Floki. They do have a reflection fee, which both Logan and I, we aren't very big fans of any tokens that have reflection fees. The tokenomics really don't check out for long-term sustainability. So definitely do your research on reflection fees, what they actually are. But yes, it is very expensive. So it's 8% transaction fee for every time you buy or sell the token. So for example, if you decide you want to invest $1,000 into Floki Inu, they will charge you $80 upon the first transaction when you buy it. So they'll give you $920 out of that 1,000 you invested. And then say it goes up to $1,000, then you have $1,000 and you sell it, then you'll have $920. So even if it goes up, you need to make back essentially 16% just to break even. And that money goes to the creators of the coin, as well as gets distributed to other holders of the coin for holding on to it.
Yeah, exactly. And it is distributed proportional to, you know, the other holders' positions. So the biggest holders will make all the money, promising the little guys passive income, which I really am not a fan of personally. It just seems kind of slimy, and not in the little baby kind of way. Okay, so any other coins out here in the chat? Jonathan says, anyone tempted to FOMO in? What do you think?
I've had a few friends who have FOMO'd in over the past couple of days. I certainly haven't. I mean, if I were to be buying these coins, I think it would be during a bear market, and it would be with $100 or $200 to speculate that maybe they'll moon again during the next bull market.
Damn, Raz was actually turns out the one who made that $5 billion trade, but someone broke his laptop, so now it's gone.
That sucks.
Pour one out for the old Raz. Floki is going to 1 cent. Let's see if that makes any sense.
Okay, yeah, let's see what the implications are of Shiba Inu going to a penny. We actually just pushed out an article.
Floki.
Oh, Floki, not Shiba. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe
so
we
Floki,
maybe we have to do analysis on this for a money article like we did with Shiba.
Okay, so it needs a 3x to get to a 1/10 of a cent, and then we need to 10x from there. So it's like a 30x. So its market cap would go from $2 billion to $60 billion, putting it well above Shiba Inu. And let's see where it would land on the list of actual, I mean, not so much fun memes, less fun not dog coins. Oh man, words are tough
right around
today.
Solana then. It would rank 6th as the largest cryptocurrency by market cap. So yeah, you never know what happens. Shiba flipped Doge and now it's the 8th largest cryptocurrency. In 1 cent, it's pretty ridiculous gains, but it's not impossible, I guess. It's extremely unlikely though. I would not be taking that home to the bank that Floki is going to 1 cent. I mean, I think we're already pretty close to the top for these dog coins.
Yeah, definitely don't schedule your Forbes interview yet. I think that the attention is going to move over into Bitcoin and more specifically Ethereum over the next couple of months here. So I am personally taking profits on my dog coins and moving them into ETH. I just think the risk is too high at this point. But it's always fun to speculate, you know, with just like some small amounts that you're totally fine with losing.
KW5G, I see you said that they lowered their fees on Uniswap to 3%. That's pretty interesting. I'd be interested to know whether or not they did this for PancakeSwap as well. Maybe they didn't because Ethereum charges such high gas fees in the first place that you're already out so much on your investments. And on Binance Smart Chain, you're only paying pennies. So they think they can justify still charging that 8%.
Yeah, I wonder what they took out, whether it was the marketing fee or if it was like the redistribution fee. maybe it's just 50-50, 1.5% to each of them now. You want to do a little bit of NFTs?
Do you have any you want to look at? The Mechaverse NFT is now down to under 1 ETH, and we saw them up to like 7 or 8 ETH just a few weeks ago, which is really interesting to see. I kind of understand. I mean, they minted at 0.2 ETH and then immediately resold for 5 ETH. And then they had this whole debacle with their developers being able to see the metadata of the NFTs before they were actually revealed. So they were able to actually rig it, kind of get some of the rare NFTs. So yeah. And it's such a new NFT too, where there was so much hype behind it. And then it was instantly worth like $25,000 that there was probably a correction waiting to happen. And then we did see that, especially with all of these other cryptos ripping, right?
Danny makes a good point in the chat. The normies are just getting in. Yeah, they are definitely just getting in. The dog coins, the NFTs, that's bringing them in to the space, and then likely they'll kind of figure it out and then, you know, switch over to Bitcoin or Ethereum or something like that. Maybe even Solana. We'll have to see. But yeah, so Ryan, we see the Pudgy Penguins floor has fallen down to finally below where I sold, so I don't feel like paper hands anymore.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I sold at 1.7. Don't forget it. Bought for 0.17.
Yeah, that's a pretty good trade, especially just within a few days, right?
Yeah, 10x my ETH in 11 days. Oh, check it out. Did I ever show you this one? I picked up Ski Mask, the slump god.eth. Somehow it was available.
That's pretty cool. You gonna pick up meta.eth?
Oh my god, whoever has meta.eth, they better not sell it. They can get so much from Zuck.
What's your take on that whole thing with Facebook now being a metaverse company?
That's a great question. I think it's bullish for the space in general. I kind of feel like Facebook's going to try to make some like Sims type game that's like a social media Sims crossover platform. But yeah, I think it'll be bullish for NFTs in general. I mean, there's people figuring out more about blockchain, becoming more interested in their online presence. Will be good for the PFPs and all sorts of NFTs. But let us know what you think in the chat. What do you think about Facebook changing their name to Meta and dropping $10 billion building a metaverse game? You have any thoughts on that, Ryan?
Yeah, do you think Facebook's actually going to be implementing blockchain into their metaverse? Because they really don't have to, right? Like Facebook is already kind of considered a metaverse, and so is Fortnite and some of these other VR games. They don't necessarily need to use blockchain. And I think that like the notion that the metaverse and blockchain is like very strongly intertwined is only really a narrative we see within the blockchain community, which I think it does make sense. But I think the normal person still doesn't really relate the metaverse and blockchain together.
I think that Facebook is trying to target the younger generation once again. That's what Zuck said himself. And so I think that, you know, obviously they'll try to keep it as centralized as possible. But if they want to attract the crypto natives, the people like us, they're going to need to let us bring our Bored Apes in. They're going to need to let us bring our NFTs over. So I definitely see both sides of the coin here. No pun intended. But I think Facebook would create their own chain if they did it and then try to have it bridged with other chains. But we actually have an expert, and I want to hear his take on it. So from the Pastel NFT blockchain, we have Anthony. Welcome to Moon or Bust, Anthony. How you doing today?
Doing great. How you doing?
Doing well, thank you.
Nice to see you.
We
Happy Halloween.
are doing our
Happy
Halloween themed
man.
Episode today, so excuse Ryan's appearance. But Anthony, I'm curious to hear your take on the Facebook metaverse.
Yeah, totally. I mean, look, it's one of those things. I don't know. Actually, I was on a clip yesterday with NBC just talking through it. Ryan, you kind of made a good point there. You know, Facebook's really been in this space of, you know, reality labs for quite some time. So I do think it was kind of a penultimate moment that's been, you know, leading up to the space. Think about obviously some of their acquisitions, some of their internal R&D as it pertains to wearables, headsets, things like that. They've been making these kind of steps for years now to get to this point in time. And, you know, if you really think about it, frankly, right, the concept of a metaverse, Ryan, you alluded to it, away from kind of crypto natives is something that I think is kind of innate and quite native, generally speaking. Think about how much time we spend on our phones. Think about how much time we spend on Instagram, right? In these kind of, quasi virtual realities already. So I think it definitely makes, a ton of sense. And one other thing to say too is, Facebook, compared to a lot of the other big tech companies itself, doesn't necessarily have, quite the monopolistic moat or, pure barrier to entry against, its underlying core product offering, right, in the form of social media suites. So it's constantly had to innovate. It's constantly had to basically, be a little bit more dynamic. It's done that historically through a number of different acquisitions, whether through WhatsApp or a handful of other platforms. But I think this is really kind of a natural stepping stone, and it will be interesting to see. I haven't seen anything from, Mark or Facebook directly that's talked about how they might, bridge this idea of kind of, interoperability across existing blockchain suites. So it'll be exciting to see how this shakes out in the next few months.
Most definitely. Harsha S in the chat just gave us $2. Thank you. We will take a look at ICP after the interview. But Anthony, could you tell us a little bit about Pastel and what your mission is?
Yeah, absolutely. So Pastel started back in 2018, and we've really grown to be a preeminent protocol standard for the NFT space. And what do I really mean by that? Obviously, the way that you look at NFTs now and the general marketplace is, I'd say the broader landscape is you have a number of different platforms and marketplaces that are geared towards different aspects, ranging from digital collectibles to gamification. Then you have kind of technologies around, liquidity pools. You have obviously fractional ownership, sharding, et cetera, and a variety of DAOs. Where we sit is actually kind of on the flip side of that in terms of, how can we actually build some of that core infrastructure to really power the NFT marketplaces and the broader NFT community forward over the next several years, right? And so we're actually completely, fully purpose-built, dedicated layer one blockchain. We've been built from the ground up to basically, solve a lot of the innate problems of the broader NFT, ecosystem, high transaction fees, network congestion, downtime, etc. But simultaneously to also be able to offer a series of different application-specific features, such as our storage, storage protocol, right? There's a huge problem in the NFT space just in terms of actually how you tightly couple the data that you're acquiring with the actual smart contract standard itself. So we have a really interesting, fully distributed, fully permanent, lossless storage protocol that's built directly on top of Pastel. We have another feature called Sense, which is our near duplicate NFT detection protocol. And that assesses the level of rareness in an existing NFT relative to all other NFTs in the actual data set itself. So that could be used to help protect against copyrights, scam issues, things like that. And so, long story short, you can think about Pastel as being, really kind of this preeminent protocol standard, whether you're kind of a third-party marketplace, another layer one blockchain, whether you're basically a commercial enterprise, you can launch a marketplace directly on top of Pastel, any sort of NFT dApp. You can leverage our APIs, via lightweight integrations to basically, rely on our storage, to rely on our duplicate detection. We just had a couple artists on OpenSea actually, basically as part of their smart contract, they sent their NFTs directly to Pastel to be stored, to leverage our duplicate detection. And those NFTs are actively trading on the Ethereum blockchain. But the proof of store lives on Pastel, if that makes sense.
Very interesting. So would you say you're more business facing or retail facing?
You know what? It's a bit of both. Those are two very, very different go-to-market strategies. But we've been focused really on kind of that B2B strategy around going out and getting a lot of different partnerships and strategic integrations with the existing layer one blockchains, with the existing marketplaces, and with the broader community. It's super exciting to see what's happening right now. I'd say the space is highly collaborative, just talking with different groups, talking with different teams and foundations and whatnot, and basically kind of just powering, using our technology to help propel and power certain aspects of the community is super exciting. But back to your point, there's also general network effects that come from that as well. So over time, there will be kind of more of a consumer-facing strategy to our own marketplaces and our own applications.
Very interesting. So could you tell us a little about the history of the company, of the project? How long have you been working on it? Have you done any fundraising so far?
Yeah, absolutely. So just for some quick context, I'm actually a partner at a fund called Innovating Capital. So we're basically a venture capital technology fund. I help run the crypto book there. And so I met the CEO of Pastel, Jeff Emanuel, back in 2018 at a crypto conference, and basically was quickly drawn to his vision. Right, he had a massive vision about the problems. No one was even talking about NFT back then, right? But he was talking about the innate problems, the lack of actually, permanent technology that was purpose built around NFTs, and basically had this kind of grand vision of building this from, really the ground up. So we started to incubate it almost immediately. And then over the past year or so, I've kind of stepped in on a full-time basis, just helping running a lot of the day-to-day operations, strategy, etc. And so, yeah, we've been operating in stealth for the last few years. Came out of stealth earlier this year, launched the mainnet. We've been launching kind of a series of protocols, since then. And then Innovating Capital, plus a handful of other, kind of smaller investors have put in, close to about, $7.5 million so far total in terms of funding.
Really cool. So what kind of benefits do creators and buyers get from using Pastel's network over other blockchains like Ethereum and maybe Binance Smart Chain or Solana, if you could touch on one of those as well?
Yeah, totally. So, if you think about it right now, right, when you go onto, a Solana or an Ethereum or one of these existing platforms, right, basically there's a couple ways to do it. You could leverage kind of OpenSea or one of these existing marketplaces, and, they're back in, smart contract deployment structure and things like that. But at the end of the day, you're going to run into, obviously, the idea of having to pay an exorbitant amount of high fees, right? Just in terms of, if you saw what happened yesterday with, the SHIB coin and whatnot, just kind of the network congestion that we saw. You had pending transactions for hours. You basically had, certain transactions that were costing hundreds, if not thousands of bucks just to mint a specific NFT. So for a creator or a collector who's just starting to come into the space, they're not a crypto native. They don't necessarily know how to buy, Ethereum on Coinbase and then set it to their MetaMask account and then change gas fees. And then, I have a pending transaction, so I have to update the known say so I can basically, clear it out and get this transaction to go through. It becomes super complicated, right? Just from a pure tech perspective. So, by leveraging Pastel, the core advantage more than anything is that we kind of abstract away a lot of those underlying issues because we're built specifically for NFTs, right? When you mint an NFT on Pastel, you're not getting in line, you're not getting in a queue of basically thousands of other applications that are focused on, DeFi or insurance or whatever, right? You don't have to necessarily compete with somebody who wants to basically lend, loan $500 million off of Compound, right? In the form of ETH and this and that, right? So basically you get a more reliable, sustainable, and just kind of, cheaper blockchain itself, right? But then you get all those specific features that I talked about. When you upload an NFT on Pastel, our storage protocol takes that file, whatever the data is. It could be a video, it could be a metaverse object, whatever it might be. It takes that file, chops it up into a bunch of little blocks, copies those blocks, and then randomly distributes those blocks across every single supernode on the network. So you basically, it's pay once, store forever. So you get this permanent storage solution that's completely distributed, completely decentralized. And, right now, if you buy a smart contract or, an NFT on another platform like Ethereum or Solana, you go to the token URI field and you might have a hyperlink to a centralized, Amazon S3 bucket, right? You might rely on some sort of IPFS pin, right? So there's a number of innate problems too that just exist with persistent storage. And then you kind of get that level of assurance in terms of the pure rarity, right? If I register something on Pastel, I'm going to get assigned basically this authenticity score from 0 to 100%. We take the NFT, we leverage a handful of different deep learning methodologies, using advanced computer vision to take that NFT and transform it into a string of numbers for 10,000 plus digits, right? Then we compare that digit or that vector of numbers, which we call the fingerprint of the NFT itself, against every single other fingerprint on the system, on collaborative platforms like OpenSea, and basically on just kind of the open web itself. And then we assign basically a very clear score from 0 to 100% that basically defines how rare something is. So if you're a creator, you have kind of the assurity that, hey, I know I'm going to get basically almost awarded or basically signal that, hey, this is super rare. I created this, right? And as a collector, I might be willing to pay more or pay a premium for something that I know is super rare versus something that's just, a ripoff of an existing punk or something like that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's a super cool feature.
Logan, I have a quick follow-up question for that before you ask your next question. But do you think, Anthony, there is a way for people who create NFTs to almost play that rarity score, like create something that looks nothing like anything else just to have a high rarity score? Because there are a lot of projects that look similar. But I mean, could you speak to that maybe a little bit?
Hey, Ryan, so I cut out there for a second. You mind repeating the question?
Yeah, sure thing. So I'm just wondering, for the people who create NFTs and they see this rarity score, would it be possible for them to essentially make something with the goal of having a high rarity score, like that looks nothing like anything else, just to be able to get that high rarity score to hopefully get more value out of buyers?
100%. I definitely think so, right? I mean, I think if you're a creator, I think generally speaking, not always the objective, but I think a big objective of certain creators is to build something that is, highly rare, that's super rare, that has never been seen before, right? If it is kind of an altercation, or an alteration of something else, they might still get a higher rareness score, right? Because it is, completely altered and whatnot. So, but I definitely think that, many creators are willing to, basically, take the time to actually create something super rare. And on the flip side, I think collectors are potentially, willing to spend more and to pay more if there is this kind of level of rareness associated with the underlying NFT.
Interesting. Anthony, so is this time-based? So say as more people create punk copies, the rarity score of the punks, the original punks, won't go down, will it?
Exactly. And it's actually also just what's important to understand too is it's on the collection level, right? So if you have 10,000 CryptoPunks, right? The way it generally works is, we do the whole fingerprint vector thing, and we put that fingerprint into the data set, and then the next one gets compared to the entire data set. So it is time-based based off the sequence of blocks, but one collection, you're not going to compare one punk versus the other, right? The series of the original X amount of punks are all going to be basically ranked a similar level of rareness, right? Just relative to that punk versus any sort of data that existed at that point in time.
Very cool, Anthony. So you mentioned that the data storage and the blockchain is completely decentralized and distributed. Could you talk to the level of that? Maybe how many nodes you have, or if you use other products to decentralize your data storage?
Yeah, I mean, look, so right now, the way that it works is you have general nodes that are running on the network that basically obviously run copies of the ledger themselves and whatnot. There's about 2,000 plus nodes around the world. I think actually probably more right now, but then you basically have the super nodes, which are doing all the same thing, but then also providing for a lot of this extra functionality, right? So you stake 5 million PSL, you run a super node, you're running kind of a high-powered client that has both a specific amount of compute and storage capabilities, and there's 100 plus super nodes running around the world right now, between the US, Asia, Europe, etc.
That's really impressive.
Again, the whole idea is to always be, if any blockchain besides Bitcoin or Ethereum tells you they're fully decentralized today, I would definitely kind of shy away from that. But the general idea is, hey, are we putting every single piece in place that pushes us on this path of sufficient decentralization, right? And is everything equipped right now, right? Hey, Logan, you decide you want to basically go acquire 5 million PSL and run a super node. You can, nothing's stopping you. You could go do that tomorrow, right? And so, and there's also a lot of other kind of core functionalities too. Consistent storage challenges, right? Where basically random supernodes are, looking at random supernodes and kind of almost inspecting what they're doing. Hey, is this supernode doing what it's supposed to be doing, or is it acting, maliciously on the network? And if it is, we basically have this like reputation scoring that, tracks. If you get, X amount of times where you're doing something maliciously, you're kicked off the network or your IP is banned. So kind of having these, fully decentralized functions are really important just in terms of, getting on that path of, pure sufficient decentralization.
That's a great answer.
And we do have a question in the chat from Jonathan. He's asking, so could there be a sacrifice on the art standard for the rareness score? That was kind of what I was getting at earlier. I guess art's really subjective, so I would say maybe the market would just decide that itself. Anthony, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's one of those things where you could use this tool. So certain companies are using this for certain, different things, right? So for example, if you're concerned that someone's just completely copying your punk, right? And you know that if someone completely rips it off, it's going to have, kind of a score of 1%, right? Well, I want to monitor anything that's less than 5% and flag it and basically maybe inspect it a little bit more. How similar is this to something else? And so I can actually go and look and say, hey, you know what? Here's the output of the code. It's telling me that it's almost identical to this. I go look at that file, etc. So you can leverage it in different ways to be more of kind of like an audit function, where I'm not necessarily just looking at something for the sake of paying more for something that's 95% rare, right? You could also on the flip side have a relatively kind of reasonable threshold. Anything that's greater than 75% is going to get this super rare certification, right? But I totally get it, right? Art is very subjective. This is just more of an additional tool or functionality that can be leveraged in a variety of different ways.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Interesting. Oh, there he goes. Can you hear us?
Yeah. Can you hear
me? Awesome. Yep, sounds good. So Anthony, can you tell us a little about the PSL token?
Yeah, absolutely. So the PSL token is really kind of the oil that runs the entire network, right? Whether that's minting an NFT, whether that's trading an NFT, whether that's basically paying to use Cascade to basically store your NFT, sense to basically run your new duplicate detection service on the NFT itself, right? So PSL is really kind of that oil that is needed for every single aspect of the system. So anytime a transaction occurs, there's really a couple things that take place. One part of that transaction fee is actually distributed to the supernode operators on the network. And then two, part of that transaction fee is burnt. It's sent to a provable burn address. It's taken out of supply. So you have both a kind of, dividend yield component in terms of, distributing PSL to the supernode operators on the network in exchange for the services they're providing. And then you kind of have this, kind of quasi share buyback model by taking, the PSL out of supply, right? And that's kind of a deflationary mechanic, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. So is that mechanic used for all transfers of the token, or is it only for sales of NFTs, kind of like how OpenSea has that 2.5 or is it 5% royalty fee on their NFTs?
Right. So a couple of things there, right? So on OpenSea, if I buy an NFT and I sell it, etc., OpenSea is going to take a clip, right? This is what I'm saying is something a little bit different in terms of an artist could still say, hey, I want to collect the 10% royalty on the NFT anytime it retrades. But if you think back to how I mentioned we're structured, where we have a series of different APIs, right? OpenSea could decide they want to send all their NFTs to Pastel for storage. They're going to pay basically in the form of PSL anytime they want to mint an NFT to call that specific protocol, right? And so that PSL, part of that's sent to the supernode operators who are doing that functionality, and then part of it's burnt, if that makes sense.
Okay, yeah, that's really cool. That's a great solution. And why did you choose to fork from Zcash and remain as a proof of work blockchain with so many like newer blockchains being proof of stake? I thought that was an interesting choice.
Yeah, I mean, look, the pure consensus mechanism starting off as kind of a fork of Zcash. At the end of the day, right, what's the most secure, rock solid foundation in the space, right? Bitcoin. We know that from day one. Zcash being effectively a fork of Bitcoin, but leveraging Equihash, which we thought was a little bit more secure, as well as zero knowledge proofs. We thought that it was actually the best candidate in terms of how to actually start the initial core blockchain itself. But what's important is this kind of layer of supernodes that sit on top that actually do a lot of the services, the validation, the registration, the activation, all that stuff. The storage, right? That actually then have almost kind of a somewhat interesting stake component associated with them, gives us this interesting kind of split model, if that makes sense. And so, from our standpoint, it's super exciting to see what's happening with a lot of the proof of stake blockchains out there. I think that they're better suited for maybe networks that require super high TPS or kind of network velocity. I'm not going to lie to you and say, hey, we're trying to be the fastest blockchain that exists, because we're not, right? Nor do we need to be. That's not necessarily the use case of NFT transactions, right? Do you care if it's going to take you 0.01 second or 1 second per se? I know probably not, right? If you're paying less, if you're getting all this core functionality associated with it, but it also doesn't have to be, because we're not necessarily dealing with, high velocity, high volume financial transactions. And so for us, we could basically offset some of the, maybe latency associated with proof of work, but get that reliability, get that security, and get that kind of rock solid core foundation.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. You have some really good points there. And also, like, Ethereum wants to do a million different things all across the world, right? So they really do need to focus on scalability. They need to actually have, 10,000 transactions per second in the future, hopefully with ETH too. Whereas you guys, need a certain amount of scalability, but it certainly doesn't have to be to that degree where proof of stake is necessary.
100%. 100%. Definitely.
So my next question, Anthony, is actually about the decentralized apps on Pastel's network. Could you explain, are these smart contract apps? Are these marketplaces that they make through your user interface on your website? How does that work?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. So they mirror the idea of kind of smart contracts. So instead of using basically a smart contract standard, we've built our own kind of smart ticket standard. These are super agile, flexible tickets. So a ticket for create NFT, a ticket for, create collection, right? This and that and whatnot. And we have found this ticket system to, basically be better suited for the way our blockchain is actually built. So we actually, there's something in Bitcoin transactions called UTXOs, right? The unspent transaction outputs, right? We can actually leverage something called pay to fake multi-sig to actually send data via the UTXO model, right? And, by leveraging pay to fake multi-sig and kind of our agile ticket structure, we've created this very interesting, unique approach to basically enabling platforms to just launch applications and launch kind of marketplaces directly on top of us. And so that's at the core blockchain level, right? But what's really interesting is the actual protocols, the APIs, etc., that interact via RPC directly with the underlying blockchain. So by plugging in a handful of our APIs, you could launch anything on top of Pastel, and it's going to do all that stuff for you in the back end. It's as easy as basically, hey, send an NFT here, right? And, have it do all this stuff and then send me back the result.
Very cool. Anthony, someone out there in the chat is trying to follow you on Twitter. They say that it's not working. If you want to let them know what your Twitter is.
I put in my, let's see, yeah, I just updated that. I put in my Telegram handle.
Sweet. And we do have another question in the chat saying, speed matters if you're in a competitive NFT mint. Is there something else that your network has to really, do something like that with ETH, how you can bid for your place? Yeah, I guess if you could speak to that a little bit.
In a competitive NFT mint, as it pertains to like
gas wars, right? Like if you're trying to mint something really fast right when it drops, and then there's competitive pricing there.
Right. No, so some of that stuff, right? It's the speed itself is something that, you can basically be performing all these functions intra-block, right? But, do you basically, I think there's a little bit of a kind of a unique differentiator here, right? Because you have kind of the finality of transactions, but you also have kind of the actual, blocks, time per block per se, and what can actually happen within each block itself. So, it is actually tracking everything actually to the core, millisecond in terms of, hey, I actually want to, place this bid. I want to do this. I want to have a competitive mint, etc. I was more kind of referencing the point of, hey, if we're getting to the point of kind of ultra high frequency where, basically we want to obfuscate the risk of, front running a $2 billion kind of, trade, and we need to leverage some sort of dark pool, right? Pastel is not necessarily that platform, right? But we're not trying to get to the point where we have 10,000 transactions per second that are just happening on the network at all points in time. But yeah, with the use case of NFTs, speed is not an issue whatsoever on Pastel.
Thanks for clearing that up. So you guys have been operating in stealth mode for basically your whole existence, but now you are out in the public. What do we have to look forward to from Pastel?
Yeah, absolutely. So what's super exciting, what's going on over time down the road, we basically have, a handful of different partnerships of developments in the works, right? In terms of, whether that's layer 1 marketplaces, whether that's layer 2 or layer 1 blockchains, layer 2 marketplaces, existing commercial enterprises that are building, launching, deploying themselves directly on top of Pastel. I'd be excited to basically, I'm super excited to start to announce those and to kind of see that happen over the next couple of months. And then we have significant updates in terms of our actual core technology that we're actually building, upgrades to our protocols, upgrades to certain mechanisms, within Pastel itself, and then the full-fledged release and launch of our own marketplace.
Awesome. Make sure you guys go check out Pastel and Anthony on Twitter. Connect with them to stay up to date. We appreciate you coming on, Anthony. Really great conversation. Hope to have you back again in the future.
Awesome. Sounds good.
Aye, aye.
Thanks, guys.
Have a good one.
Thank you.
See ya.
All right, so we are just about out of time, but we circling back to ICP, I say it could be a really big, really successful project, but check out their vesting schedule so you don't get rugged by the developers selling off all of their initial shares. That's what happened earlier this year. So maybe it's over, maybe not. Definitely promising, but high risk, I'd say. But yeah.
Yeah, I'll give you my super short take on that too. I was pretty hype when it released. I looked through their docs and whatnot. It seems super promising. They have a really impressive and really large team behind the coin. But like Logan said, a lot of those coins were vested. They got them for like $2 back like 4 or 5 years ago at this point. It's been in development for a really long time. And a lot of those people probably did want to take profits once it went public. So that's what they did, right? And that pushed down the price a lot. And now it's right around $40 to $50, and it hasn't been performing too well. I still think it is a solid project, but it'll be interesting to see where the price goes and how much, these private investors still own, and like if they could actually keep pushing this price down, or, are retail traders really going to be so hyped to keep buying this up and, drive the price back up to close to $1,000 like it was at earlier this year, which I'm not too sure about, but I still think it's a solid project.
For $2,800. Look at this.
Sheesh. Yeah, that must have been right when they launched it.
Yeah. That is insane, and it's just been. I mean, this looks like a rug, but they have a lot of good, stuff going on their website, if it's to be believed. So, definitely some potential. Thanks for the $2. All right, Ryan, that is all we have time for today. So everyone out there, hope you have a great weekend. Have a happy Halloween, and make sure to stay safe. Crypto markets this hot. It's dangerous. It's dangerous out there.
Spooky almost.
Quite spooky. All right. We will see you guys next week. Peace out.